Hello, welcome to Tier Nerd. This is a tier list for games that I've played that do not qualify as RPGs. Almost everything I ever play is a Japanese RPG. Like just about everything since the age of like 11, like the last 20 years of my life. Almost every game I've played has been a Japanese RPG. Like that's how much of a fan I am. Very rarely do I play other games besides JRPGs. I just can't. I can pretty much like I just can't get into other genres like shooting games, FPS. I'm terrible, awful at it. Just it's just very hard. I just don't even complete those games usually. These are games that I've completed or played a lot of, and that I had enough fun playing them that I actually managed to play them for 30 or 50 hours, which is very rare. But and so anyway, I'll start with these. So first we have Danganronpa. So the Danganronpa trilogy. Now I am an anime fan. Now if you'll notice, I also have Jump Force, Naruto Shippuden. Forget what game it was. Naruto Shippuden 3, Ninja Storm, and then I played a One Piece game. I think it was like one. It was one of those One Piece uh, like Destiny Warriors game or something like that. So first, let's go over Danganronpa. So I am an anime fan. So I first watched the anime and I thought, wow, it was really fun. Like I really like the anime, so I thought, like, yeah, let's play the games. So I play the games. Like so, even though they're technically not RPGs, I still had fun playing them. So I don't know A tier. Like I think they're all maybe A tier. Yeah. The problem is I can't get higher than A tier because like it's a game like you play it one time and it's kind of fun the first time, like just going through the whole game. But then the post game content in the Danganronpa games wasn't very good. It was kind of boring, generic. It just didn't feel like it was worth my time doing it. So I didn't end up getting a lot of the achievements on Steam. I just got like the ones that were easier to get. So I just played it once and that was it. And that's something I've noticed that a lot of these games that are non RPGs have in common is that they're not very good at creating post game. Like RPGs are good at making post game optional objective side quests. These games are not very good at that. Like so, Danganronpa is good as like a one time game. You play it and that's it. Like almost no replay value once you've played it once. And the post game stuff just wasn't that great. But the storyline is interesting. It's kind of dark, but you know, I had fun playing it, even though I did use a guide. So because I'm not gonna just sit there and randomly get stuff. So it's like playing it's like watching an interactive anime where you do stuff. Danganronpa 2, I think, was a little better, but pretty much the same old stuff. There's even more post game stuff, and once again, it just was very hard to get into. It was not particularly exciting. The game itself is great one time, but like you play it through one time, but everything else isn't as good. Danganronpa 3. At this point, I think I might even drop Danganronpa 3 down a B tier just because the storyline was weird. If you know how it ended, if you've played it and you know how it ended, you know that the ending was a bit weird, kind of out there. But the game itself's fine. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it, but I think I'll put it in high B tier for now. But once again, it just follows the same format as the last two games, and once again, the post game just wasn't really worth your time. It just yeah, the game itself, it's fun. Just play it one time. Okay, here let's try. Let's do that one later. Let's do these like the fighting anime games. So the first one out of these three that I played, I think, was the Naruto one. I think I'll put it in B tier. Like it was fun to play, but the battle system is weird. Um, the thing about fighting games is that they're extremely repetitive. I understand that there is a large cast of characters and each character is different and you use them differently. That's great, but after a few hours or so, eventually it gets very repetitive. You just find some kind of cheap combo and you just keep spamming it, and that's it. Like, and then the post game for this Naruto game was not that great at all. It was kind of boring, very repetitive. That's the thing. It's kind of hard to play these games for more than about 30 hours. Or for One Piece, I actually played 50 hours. But after there's a limit. After that, it's just boring because it's extremely repetitive. These games are extremely repetitive, and it was fun going through the storyline. Like, going through the Naruto storyline again in a game. Like, yeah, that was kind of fun. It does have that going for it. Um, but yeah, and then let's see the One Piece game. One Piece game I might even rank lower than Danganronpa. Like, this game was even more repetitive because just the way the game is designed. It's not just like a normal fighting game. You're actually running around here, but you're just spamming buttons the whole time, and the battles are super long. And this game was even more repetitive than the Naruto game. So, although I do like One Piece, and it was kind of cool going through the storyline, once again, it just has the same problems that the Naruto game had. It's just the post game is not even worth your time. Side quests and objectives just aren't very fun, repetitive, very repetitive. Um, so yeah, pretty much all these games, they're like you play them one time and that's it. Like, they just lose their charm very, very quickly. I don't like JRPGs. If I had all the time in the world, I could play some of them several times before I'd get bored, or I'd play one and then not play it for 5 years and pick it up again and think it's great. Like Final Fantasy IV, Chrono Trigger, a lot of RPGs I played several times, and at some point I just said, okay, I've beaten it several times. I need to play something else now. But these games, no, these games they're not games I would probably ever play again. Um, let's see, Jump Force. Jump Force was interesting because it it combined. I don't know. I might put it harder than Naruto again. It basically combined all of these, basically a whole bunch of anime all together, like Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Naruto, like everything, all this, and it was really fun. Like, it was really fun seeing all these characters, the main characters, the villains, all of that. But like, so it was really cool just seeing all of that put together. That was kind of fun. And every character is different, but eventually the charm goes away, and you've played all the characters, and it's repetitive, and you're just button mashing the same combos, and yeah, there's just not much else to say. Like, it just it has that cool appeal. Like, oh, I like anime, so if you like anime, then yeah, these are interesting games, but they get very repetitive. And the storyline is like just trash. Like, it's just there. It's just filler. Like, there's no point to the storyline. It's kind of like the Final Fantasy Dissidia storyline. It's just kind of there. It's kind of hard to make a storyline when you just put all these different characters together from different worlds. So it's just a filler storyline. But yeah, I think I'll put it in B tier. I can't put it because this game gets extremely repetitive, and the side quest stuff is boring as usual. So yeah, let's see now. Evo Search for Eden. This one I might give A tier. I think maybe low A tier, maybe not as good as the Danganronpa games, but I think I'm going to put it in A tier, because this is a very unique game. It's a Super Nintendo game. It's a platformer where you jump around, and I don't normally play games like that. I'm very bad at them, and I was really bad at this game. But what's cool is that is just the concept is that you kind of evolve over time. Like, you start off as a fish, then you become an amphibian, and at the end of the game, like, you just keep evolving. At the end of the game, you can become a dinosaur or a human, and it's just very interesting, very bizarre concept. And you could beat the game in like a day or two. And there's a lot of like secret stuff and hidden levels. And, you can look at a guide, but yeah, just a very unique concept. And what's interesting is the composer. The composer is actually Sugiyama, Koichi Sugiyama. So the composer for Dragon Quest composed this game. So so the soundtrack's pretty interesting. It's a good soundtrack. So this is a good hidden gem. Yeah, of a game. It's technically not an RPG, so I put it in this category. But it's the kind of game maybe RPG fans would enjoy. Let's see, Shadowverse. I don't know if I want to put this A tier or like B tier. This game, maybe low A tier. I mean, Shadowverse had its charm. It's a card game that I just downloaded on Steam. It was free, and it was fun at first. At the beginning, it's fun. Like you play. You have there's variety in the cards, but over time, as they release more and more cards, the game just got more and more ridiculous, and it was very hard to beat people because people would just copy this meta deck, or they would pay money and they would end up with all these powerful decks. So it has the same problem a lot of online games have, is that eventually it becomes pay to play, and it's hard to play anybody because you're just overpowered. Like, you can use good strategies and you'll still lose because they have better cards than you. So it falls into the same problem a lot of online card games have. Like if you play Magic the Gathering online, you'll probably run into the same issues. So it just becomes it's mostly what cards you have and maybe a little bit of luck, and very little strategy is involved. So it's fun at first, but just like every single game here, pretty much, it just loses its charm after a while, and you don't want to play it anymore. So I think I'll put it maybe low A tier or maybe just up here. But anyway, so these games, these non RPGs I played, some of them are good, some of them are solid, but they're just what they all have in common is that they're probably not games I would want to play again. I'm just they're not JRPGs. They're just never going to be as fun. But sometimes I do think outside the box, and I do try to play something that's not an RPG, and there might be more of these games in the future. So yeah, that was another tier list, and stay tuned for more.